This is just what's happening right now. It's adversity just like in the middle of a game or whatever it may be. You can't let that stop you all of a sudden. Like, yeah, you need to decompress and kind of debrief with yourself and be like, allow yourself to feel these things like, man, this kind of sucks or whatever. But it's like, yeah, get back in the saddle at some point. Once you get in it, until it's better or until the thing's fixed or until you win or whatever it is, why would you stop? You know?
What's up, guys? Welcome to The Standard. This is season 3. Super excited about our guest today, Jack Wilson. He's a tackle that plays for the Indianapolis Colts in the NFL, but he has a crazy, unorthodox story. He's only played football for a few years. He's 6'11", 330 pounds, and one of the strongest individuals we've ever had in the gym. But not alone with that, he's literally the nicest human, and he's the hardest working, most dialed guy ever. There's so much we can take away from this, whether you're a coach, parent, athlete, anything, and this was a great one for me. Excited for you guys to listen. We're rolling, brother. Jack, how did we get to the Colts, my man? I want to know the story. I want to know the California, the growing up, everything, man. How'd you get to where you are now?
Yeah, I feel like the titles alone kind of takes a while. But I started off just playing basketball. Never played any football growing up. Ended up at Oregon State playing basketball. Straight out of college, was like a decently big recruit, and it's nothing against them, but I committed there way too early. So I show up with these big expectations that aren't met because I'm a freshman, learn how to play basketball, and end up leaving and going to the University of Idaho. From there, spent 2 years, decided I didn't want to do it anymore. Fell in love with strength and conditioning. Just kind of felt like, especially after COVID and getting time away, if I love this so much, and it's not like I didn't love basketball anymore, but it's why take that opportunity from somebody else, you know, when they're so passionate about it, and I can move on to what I'm not passionate about. And got into strength and conditioning. I ended up working at GNC and became an intern.
Straight bro mode.
Yeah. Became an intern at Washington State with their basketball team, just in the weight room. And then one day a guy came into GNC and he was, hooting and hollering like, what are you doing? Why aren't you playing sports? Look at how big you are or whatever. I told him, well, I want to be a strength coach. I used to play basketball. He goes, well, I'm the head strength and conditioning coach for the football team in Washington State.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah, now I want to talk to you. I want to talk to this guy. But no, he was a great guy, Dwayne Bradshaw. He's at Florida now. Big mentor of mine. But anyways, I went to meet with him and his staff to become an intern there. And one thing led to the next. I'm in. The first meeting felt like they all knew something I didn't. They're all kind of looking around at each other. And one guy kind of ends up saying, like, I mean, we can't let this guy just like leave without at least talking to
play football,
coach, whatever.
Hold on, let me give a little context. So, because the chair you had to shrink down, so you are 6'11" in cleats, or is that real?
I'm 6'10" and a half with nothing, so I'm sure in cleats I'm touching 7.
Ducking, getting in the door, and then 300, but with abs.
Yeah,
hitting 10 dead hang strict pull-ups. Yeah, I love it. All right, so.
Yeah.
So that they're in the office going like, yeah, this guy don't play football.
And at that point too, like, so I was super skinny. I remember the last lift I had as a basketball player, I failed 225 on bench at Idaho. So
for one rep.
Bullshit. Failed it. It was like.
So you're 19 years old, 20 years old.
20 or 21 at that point. End up leaving, and at this point I'm working at GNC, like full bro mode, like you said, and I'm just bodybuilding. So like I'm starting to look the part. Went from about 230 to 275. So I showed up to them like 275. And so when I came back to sign everything to be an intern, I was in. The head coach is there, Nick Rolovich. And we're talking. He's like, look, you don't want to do anything that you don't want to miss out on an opportunity and look back and be like, man, why didn't I just go for it? And I think if you come play football, you're going to walk on the first year. You might be able to earn a scholarship your second year. Just with your athletic ability, we'll teach you the rest. And then there, they didn't have a tight end, but at 275, as tall as I am, it was like that would have been perfect.
Right.
So it was D end or offensive tackle. I had never played football. I'm like, J.J. Watt, D end. Like, that's cool. And but I became buddies with some of the offensive linemen there. One thing led to the next. The assistant O-line coach came up to me and was like, look, you could maybe do a good job at DN, but like if you play offensive tackle, you might be a pro. I'm like, yeah, whatever, but I'll go for that one if it's more promising. And fell in love with it. I sucked really bad the first year. I was really, really bad. But I loved it, and it brought so many aspects to life, and just sports, like the physicality, the brotherhood of football that you just don't get really anywhere else, or at least I hadn't experienced anywhere else, and changed my life, man. So kept it rolling. Ended up switching back to basketball later. Do you want me to get into all that?
Yeah, I want to know.
It's getting lengthy. I don't want to talk your ear off about it.
Yeah, this is why we're here, bro. We're here to chat. I ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah. So spent the first year as a walk-on, had like 2 or 3 different O-line coaches that first year because Rolovich and his staff get fired, COVID BS, so it was crazy.
Damn, you were at Washington State, in Washington during COVID?
Yeah.
That wasn't easy.
Well, it was like right after the bulk of it where everybody went home. So my first season was after that like cut in half
terrible
season.
Stuff. Yeah.
But there was still a lot going on. Like if you weren't vaccinated, we're making you do all this crap. Like it was crazy. And Rolovich gets fired, new staff comes in, get through that spring ball, and I was improving a lot throughout the year. Head coach Jake Dickert ends up giving me a scholarship coming into that next season. Also, I learned that based on the COVID year stuff, red shirts, all that, I was going to have a third year.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, let's go. Like, I'm going to be a good football player. Next year comes around. I'm like, it's building, it's getting there. Not exactly where we want it to be yet. Like, it's not like I'm a professional ready guy at that point. And that season's coming to an end. Boom, the NCAA comes back and says, your third year's gone. You can only use it for basketball. Like, nobody was prepared for that. It felt like they were just making it up. We're fighting it, whatever. But I still have it for basketball. But at this point, I'm 340 pounds.
340?
Yeah.
270, you show up, 340.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get into that. Wow.
And it was a different waist size on the pants. Whereas
so now, what are you right now?
330. 325, 330.
Oh, okay.
But probably about as lean as, I don't know. It's hard to say. But this was a very different 330 to 340 range. But not terrible. Anyways, that year's taken away. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is it. I don't know. Nobody's telling me, hey, no, you still have a shot professionally. None of that.
Right.
But what does come around, and this is right when I decided that summer I was going to go to Grangeville, Idaho, and I was going to work on a farm. And I was going to be a makeshift ranch hand on an ATV because my big ass wasn't getting on a horse or anything. We were going to figure it out. And that's what I wanted. I just wanted to be outside, and I was excited about it. Eventually get back to strength and conditioning, but it didn't matter because the basketball coach at Washington State came to us and was like, hey, we need a big, if you want to get in basketball shape, we can kind of figure this out. They're already partway through the preseason, so I'm late. But I was iffy about it because obviously basketball, I kind of left that behind. I was excited about strength and conditioning. I had one workout with Steve Frankowski, and I loved it again. We were just shooting hoops. It was just dude, I would absolutely do this. Why would I not?
Right.
If they know they're going to give me a shot, my school's paid for already from football, this would be awesome.
Right.
And slowly but surely, I just got in better shape. Got down to I think I was 285. No, I was never 285. I was probably 295. Jeez. And probably too short of a time. But for basketball, it's lose a little muscle from foot, whatever. I was athletic. I felt like I had capabilities I never had before because now I'm somewhat twitchy, explosive from training like a football player. And by the end of that season, we're in the Pac-12 tournament. I'm getting minutes, and now the whole narrative's changing because it's whoa, I can use this. I don't know where it's going to be, but man, if I can find somewhere where I can get my master's in a year next year, paid for, exercise science, something related, that would be awesome.
Right.
And I still get that COVID year. and went in the portal. It wasn't going to be at Washington State. They didn't really have a place for me, and that was nothing personal. It was just where they were at with recruits and everything. And B, there was no 1-year master's that I could get.
Gotcha.
So it's like, let's get you in the portal. Kyle Smith, he's at Stanford now, was a huge help, real supportive, probably talked me up a little bit with some of the coaches. And, had some opportunities, and the easiest pick was University of Minnesota. 1 year, master's in exercise science available. Wasn't sure what minutes were going to be like, but through that process of football to basketball, like the thing about me became that I was like a good leader and all these qualities that, I'm going to be totally honest, I never had the first go around with basketball. It was a really cool opportunity, man. I mean, what more could I ask for? It's Big Ten basketball. I get to play at Purdue and stuff, you know? And then I roll into a strength and conditioning job, the head performance intern for Olympic sports that very next year. I was fired up, just like, looking forward to, that was what it was about. That's what started this whole crazy thing with strength and conditioning. Got into that role and was like, hey, it would be awesome to do like a pro day or something at the end of the year. And I was just like being a bonehead. I didn't know the logistics of that, not realizing like, no, this is for guys coming off of their college career. Like, I just wanted to beat my old numbers because I was obsessed with training. Right. And so I was telling a friend of mine about that, who then said, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like that simple, but you should see if there's something you can do. And here's my agent friend who would be able to guide you through that. That conversation quickly turns into, no, I'm telling you right now. And it took me weeks with Bardia, my current agent. This guy has not been wrong a single time. This was just me at the time. Right. I was like, we sign in, and like this is turning into a whole different thing now. Like, he's saying, no, you could get a workout right now with the team, like in the next weeks. I'm thinking like, damn, training camp's right around the corner. I'm dragging it on for weeks because I'm just not sure. I also don't want to bail on my job that I love either. Like, that's a tough place to be at. And he's just like, we made it work to where I wouldn't miss anything the first workout. And I went, and boom, I have the head of professional scouting for the Colts, actually, was the first workout, telling me like, hey, yeah, you should be proud of what you did in this workout. Like, we're not going to do it right now because you coming into training camp after no football in 2 years, like, isn't a great idea. But let's try to get you on the practice squad. I'm like iffy about that, but then boom, immediately I'm in the airport to go back home. My agent Bardia calls me, hey, go to this gate instead. You're going to New England. You have a workout with the Patriots. Let's go. I think I'm signing there. Bunch of stuff happens, whatever. Like, I'm meeting with the O-line coach. It's like, okay, this is real now. And if not now, when? I'm going to call my boss right now. Like, I felt it, dude. It was like, I'm playing football now. This is what it's going to be. Called my boss, told him what was up. They're excited for me. I actually had a guy who was going to do a better job at my job than I would have, who was itching for a spot like that. He took it over, killed it. And, I had like 3 more workouts after that. All the teams kept saying the same thing, like, not right now, not in the middle of training camp. Let's get you on practice squad, develop you, whatever. And I think maybe they didn't realize, like, I was able to take a set. Like, I learned football. So I was excited to show up and just prove that. Right. Finally, the Colts come around, had an opening, do a workout. I get signed onto the practice squad, spend some time there. And then after that, it's led to my current situation, which is I signed my rookie contract. Because the practice squad contract was separate. I didn't touch any of, like, my rookie deal or anything. And they brought me back after that season. We're like, yeah, you're in. 3-year standard deal that any undrafted free agent would get if they sign you. Now I'm on year 2 of that.
It's crazy. It's freaking awesome. That's a hell of a story, man. I got to go back because we work so much on our athletes on trying to control their weight. Mm-hmm. And every kid either says, I'm eating as much as I possibly can, I can't gain weight. which we know is false, right? Or the vice versa. You know what I mean? I'm trying everything I can and I can't lose weight, or I don't eat anything, or I don't drink anything, right?
Yeah.
You literally, in a short amount of time, went from not like little weight. You went from 270 to 340 to back to 290. What were you doing? How'd you educate yourself? Because at those programs, I'm assuming a lot of it was on your own, especially at U of I, right?
Yep.
And in the GNC free creatine that you're probably getting in Mass Gainer, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So that, I guess what made you think that you could change that much? Because that's 70 pounds. Some people are like, oh, I can gain a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had a guy this year in Pro Day gain the most we've ever had. Might even have been too much at the end because he tried to drink a gallon of water, but he gained like 24 pounds, How did you do that? And what was the mindset going into that? What was your eating like? What was your routine like? I mean, that's consuming your whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it all started really, really imperfectly, probably around my senior year of high school. I started learning about this kind of stuff. And it's just grown and developed over time. There was never one like key thing where I'm like, yeah, I know how to do this now.
Right.
I learned through the entire process. I still don't have it all figured out. Like this offseason's been different than last offseason and whatever. But for those periods specifically, it's for me, like I don't get all in my head about just tracking, just like know what's going in your body. Because you have a conversation with somebody, it's like, man, I'm eating so much protein. Like, if they tracked it, it might not be what you want it to be. Or like carbs. Like, people don't realize you're probably intaking a lot of fat when a ton of it could be carbs, and you will absolutely feel the difference. And just learn how to manipulate that. Calories in, calories out does come into play at times, and like being able to mess with up in your protein when you're in a deficit so you can maintain some of that lean tissue as I'm dropping these extreme amounts now. It was so extreme from football to basketball that I was still losing some.
But you're on your own. You're in college.
I'm on my own.
There's barely any.
I was just obsessed with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just loved it. That was
Googling macros.
Yeah.
MyFitnessPal. Yep.
Yeah. And like learning from people. Like I don't watch shows. I'm not watching Yellowstone. Like I'm on YouTube looking at like strength and conditioning.
That's my shit. So you always talk about more carbs.
Yeah, now I do.
Okay, so now you do. Yeah. I want to know where that changed because the camera's not doing it justice. But you're 330 pounds right now with abs. Like you're like as lean. You literally look like if you were going to draw an athlete, like it would be your size. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, right. I know. But you know what I'm saying. And you eat a shit ton of carbs. And for us to talk about that with people, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where did that mindset change and how?
Yeah.
As an athlete, especially.
Yeah. I mean, it changed the second go around with football because I'm a lot leaner and there's a lot more to fuel because my outputs are higher.
So this is with the Colts?
Yes.
Not at Washington State. This is with the Colts?
No, this was like really starting probably at Minnesota, to be honest. I was caught up in the like dang near carnivore, timing your carbs thing at Washington State a lot. And like I learned from having a practice where I didn't crash, or like when I was about to crash, taking in some glucose and feeling better. Like then I started to buy into this idea of like, okay, yeah, I do need to up the carbs. John Heck, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's like a big dude. You talk about a freak. He's like my size, maybe a little shorter, but we're talking really ripped, like whatever. He talked about the importance of carbs in a way, and like coming from a person who, I'm like relating to in a lot of ways, like a really tall person who loves strength and conditioning is a good way to dumb that down. Where I finally just bought in and like started trying it, started slowly upping the carbs, slowly feeling better. Like you no longer feel flat. Like, how, oh man, arms aren't filling the sleeves as much today. And it's like, you don't know why. You're probably just carb depleted. And then you're not holding on to your hydration, and then you get into electrolytes, and that's a whole different thing.
But, that's a hot take right there. We're gonna have to post that one for the kid. Carbs make the sleeves fill up, dude. Every guy's gonna listen to that.
It's legit because it's a bunch of science stuff that I'm gonna blab about in circles, not really knowing what I'm talking about. But anecdotally and subjectively, my life got better when I ate more carbs, especially as an athlete. And you haven't gotten fatter and softer.
Nope. Yeah.
So what comes with that is like there's still calories in versus calories out is still real. So if your carbs are going up, do you need to drop protein? Carbs are protein sparing, so I don't think it's as extreme as we think. But the fats and just the crap that sneaks its way into the regular American diet is where a lot of the trouble kicks in, at least for me, and I know for a lot of people too. So watching that, being smart about it and eating like an athlete,
Yes.
Yeah.
So eating like an athlete, I want to go back to Minnesota and Dietz. I just want to hit on that. But while we're on the nutrition, your breakfast and your workout and how you time your food during those times and how perfect that is, you know what I mean? How thought through that is. Walk me through that and why, you don't do eggs. You do things a little bit differently. It was made me have a different mindset even on how I teach my athletes. You know what I mean? Kind of give me a rundown of, say it's a good training day. You have your normal 8:30 or 9:30 session. Like, what's your morning look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe even start the night before. What's the night before look like to prepare? What's your morning look like? And then how are you eating your carbs, drinking your carbs in between our run and our lift?
Yeah. I mean, it can get as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. So a more complex thing, if we're talking about the night before training, which is something that I try to do every night, you want a lot of omegas, slower digesting proteins, casein, so that it'll come from eggs. You can literally do casein protein. If you need more carbs on the day, you mix it into some oats, whatever it is.
How are you getting your omegas at night? Pill form or
egg, pill, and from just like the food. So I'll go for like a whole egg or whole eggs instead of like worrying about egg whites and stuff, which is something that you do maybe in the morning if you want to eat eggs. So we get to the morning. Fat is going to be the slowest digesting thing. You don't want a ton of protein because that's a little bit slower too. I'm waking up 2 hours before I train, so that's less than 2 hours until I train between eating and getting moving. So I'm just loading up carbs. You don't want to overdo it. But for me, it's this stuff creamy rice. It's like cream of rice, but got a bunch of good flavors. It's stevia, so it's not the worst thing in the world. I do get some protein in with like a Greek yogurt, add more carbs and micronutrients with fruit into that. But for me now at my size, like that would have been great for basketball me. But now at my size, like we get through the first hour, extended warm up, running. Now I'm going to go lift, pile on. I use Carbolin. It's like carbs derived from potatoes and rice and stuff. It's all good stuff. Dump that into a shaker with the pre-workout before the lift. You notice that feeling when it hits because you feel full again. Like not full in your stomach full, but like you're ready to train. Yeah.
You're saying my warm-up takes a while?
It's it does what it needs to do. That's all. I'm the one taking a while, really. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of really all I do for the pre and during training. But that's because we're training at 8:30 in the morning. There's plenty of more food to come. But that's how I approach night before, morning, and during training.
We could talk about nutrition forever, and maybe we do another one later on that. But say you worked out in the afternoon, or say you have like an afternoon practice. Are you still having those carbs in between? Like, do you usually have that like almost any time that you're training or anything like that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, it depends. Like, so when I go to OTAs, it's going to be a lift in the morning, with the run, whatever. The duration of that's nothing crazy, but I do have an intra-workout shake that does have some carbs in it.
Oh, okay.
But then our on-field stuff is going to be hours later. Like we have, the post-lift stuff, a little bit of time, and then film, and then we go out onto the field. So that's just going to be covered by meals.
Sweet.
I never really reached a point yet to where but like training camp, rigorous, practices are getting lengthy. Like I'm just screw all the Carbolin, and I want to get it from a potato instead of like I'm just pounding Gatorade, just glucose, whatever it's got to be. So
yeah.
It depends on the situation, but I'm always getting carbs. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I take away from you is that you eat like a professional. It's not just that you're competing in your sport and everything like that. You have a huge opportunity, so you're going to do everything you possibly can to take advantage of this. And it sounds like you've been doing it since a high school level. And it's crazy for us to see. It usually happens when they either are not getting offers and their friend is getting one, or it's like right as they're getting it and it's starting to get real, and they have to control it. They have to be able to control their own now. So they're like that junior, senior, where it's like, man, I might go play with these guys or girls, and you look at them and you look at yourself like skill-wise, I might be there, but physically I'm not there.
For sure.
And then as soon as they buy in, which is so small, but it's like the cliche of it being the X factor, as soon as they buy in, everything changes.
Yep.
Injuries down, energy through the roof, performance goes up, and I think the biggest thing is confidence. When you feel like you have it, you know what I mean? Like you said, even with the sleeves, like the confidence goes through the roof.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
It's real, yeah.
That's the biggest thing the best part about you being around the pro day guys and the young guys is they just see how serious you take everything. You know what I mean? You have fun, you have a good time, but everything has a purpose.
For sure.
And everything, you treat it like a professional. Like one of my favorite books is Turning Pro, and everything you do in your life is about it, not just playing football, which is, I learned from you on that. It's huge.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Minnesota, we kind of just jumped by it. If anybody in the strength and conditioning world's listening to this, they'll know when you were there at the GA, you're with Cal Dietz. Maybe one of the most influential college strength coaches, for good or bad. Some love, some hate. Not too many guys are in the middle, but I've noticed even guys that don't love him, some part of their program at some point is derived from his methodologies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, he took them from someone else, so maybe they learned it from somebody else too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how he's pieced together, everybody implements a little bit of what Cal Dietz. So he invented triphasic. So anybody listens to like the eccentric, isometric, and the concentric, and breaking those up into different phases, and how he does it, and his reflexive eccentrics, and all his craziness. Put the big toe into it. You know what I mean? But you turned into an absolute, like that's where you really got real strong, right?
That's where I got explosive.
Okay. What does he do that you take away that helped you get more explosive? What did you learn from Cal? Just give me a little bit of that whole experience, because he's every strength and conditioning coach when they first start, it's usually like CSCS, triphasic. Whether triphasic is right or not, it's like the one that everybody listens to. You know what I'm saying? But maybe movement over maxes or stuff like that. But it's like every 21-year-old that's in the game has read triphasic.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Totally. I went from, when it comes to like when my obsession with the weight room started, it was bodybuilding. We get to football. It's Olympic lifting. I get to Minnesota. I'm like doing my own lifts and supplementing a bunch of stuff, but I was just obsessed with like 10 by 1 and like all this. I just want to smash weight, whatever. So then when I'm coaching, I get all the time in the world to just get as strong as I possibly can. Like I'm running conjugate-ish stuff, but the dynamic days were still probably too heavy, that kind of thing. And then I come into Cal's weight room, and it was like, okay, we're going to hit this eccentric block.
So you were big West Side-ish first.
Yeah, West Side-ish, still like very Olympic influence though. Cool. Then I come to Cal's weight room, and it's like I'm seeing people not pick up a weight for a long time. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of bands and that kind of stuff. So that was the first time I learned, okay, in this first eccentric block, we're going to hit really heavy weight, super maximal actually. And then everything after that, though, was like the power, the speed block, seeing how that translates into the sprint, and my times are all improving. Like I was becoming a better athlete from these objective metrics, not just being a muscle everything meathead, through nothing but more speed and power oriented stuff, you know, which didn't involve heavy barbells or anything like that.
So you finally broke 6 seconds on your 40 there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, like absolutely. And it was such like a novel stimulus for me that even in these blocks where it was more strength power-ish oriented, it was still at velocities consistently that I was not touching. So I was getting faster even in these points where theoretically they're not planning on anybody getting faster. That's like very kind of vague and walking around the nitty-gritty of his training style, but
that's usually because the people that he has, though, has a super high training age, and they've been doing that for a while.
Yes.
So they've adapted to it. So then he has certain times where they get there, but you've never done anything like this.
I didn't do,
So it didn't matter what you were doing, you were
just getting fast.
Yeah, which is kind of, it's like our secret sauce for some people when they first start lifting with us, because they're 14, 15 years old, they just get these huge improvements, and they're like, whoa, you guys are amazing. It's like, this is sweet, but you've also never lifted weights, so it's easy.
Well, and you're doing it the right way, though.
Yeah.
So.
But
But
having the combination and some puberty
Yeah.
kind of makes us like, and again, we want to do it the right way. Like, but I mean, I'll be real about it. You know what I mean? It's a nice alignment to where everything works together. You know, when we get a guy like you, even like what we're trying to work on right now, it's like, how can we get that 1%?
Yep.
You're already a freak. You already know how to move. You've got all these superpowers. How can we enhance those and then just bring that floor up? You know what I mean? Sorry, keep going.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. Because the question was, what happened with Cal? Like,
yeah, I mean, what did you take away from Cal? How about?
Yeah, I mean,
you have a brother-in-law now that's in high school. You're gonna come being off the field strength coach when you're done playing in 10 years. When we're done with that, you know what I mean? You have like what would you implement with the young group? You've said, you know, there's pieces that you definitely 100% believe in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think's, you know, important on those side of things, and what would you implement?
The biggest one that I saw actually with that particular individual was potentiation, and then utilizing that potentiation in the movement that you're trying to get better at. So for Cal, oftentimes it's a sprint. Overcoming isometrics are used in like a really good way. It's a really valuable tool. But in his philosophy, it's like, okay, well, if we just built up all this potentiation, why wouldn't we then go use it and teach your system how to produce that force and use all those outputs? When before it was like kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of losing how I want to explain it. But it's like you go from being able to sprint, right? And you don't know what it's like to it's like exposure to positions, right? And if you get exposed to those positions, now you have a shot at hitting those in the sprint. It's the same thing with potentiation, seeing what it's like to produce that kind of force and then immediately going and doing it and applying it, right?
So give me an example. Specific, a movement you do in the weight room, and then how you apply it.
Yeah, it would be like everything goes anterior, posterior, so it would be like a split squat iso with the bar in between your legs coming into the rack, and then we would hit overcoming, and then we would hit the posterior with that single leg that I was showing you. So it's kind of like a reverse hyper without the reverse hyper into a pad, into all a fixed object, all glute. And we're talking about the firing pattern, which some people use more than others, but Cal, it's big to go glute, hamstring, opposite QL for stability. So with the way he does things, pushing through that big toe and making sure we're not rocking or doing anything funky with the upper body, we're maintaining the integrity of that firing pattern and then going straight into it could even be like a bent knee prime time or like straight into your sprint or whatever it may be. Then you have isometrics that get more into your hips and adductors, and then you could do lateral movements, but things like that. Just the exposure and then being able to feel what it's like to produce that kind of force, then getting into the movement. What I've learned from you, though, is the importance of feeling those positions first. Because we don't want to because an issue of mine is being able to produce all this force, but if you're not in the right spot, you could screw something up.
Right.
But that's something I definitely want to talk about bringing into it when that day comes.
I love it. And that's the thing that I take away from you. Like I've literally taken athletes straight through triphasic years in the past. You know what I mean? Seen things I like, seen things I didn't like. How can you implement it? It's really tough with a high school athlete, you know, going through seasons, or they're playing club, or we don't get somebody at a young age that we get for 52 weeks of the year. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because some, you know, maybe they don't train in season, or if they do train in season, we only get them once or twice a week, right? So it's like, you know, what, just like any conjugate, you know, anything that you take, vertical integration, whatever it is, you're going to take bits and pieces of that as you go through it. But I love how you said anecdotally it worked for you. And there's a lot of Dietz haters, but I think it's because he does say he gets some crazy ass results. Right. But you see what he's done and some of the people that he's worked with, and maybe it is better for his hockey guys than it is for a field sport guy. But if you see their success and how low their injury rate is, you can't argue that. Right. You see the amount of force that you can output at your size doesn't make sense. Literally science, like it doesn't make sense with long levers and what you're doing. So like obviously something worked, right? You know what I mean? And so it always just makes me come back to where it's like you just go in waves, where it's like, okay, hey, this guy's this fascia, you know, speed, all these different things, you know what I mean? Where it's like you have to take the pieces that work. But I think you reopened my eyes. Like I never was a Dietz hater, you know what I mean? But it was like there was things that I liked, things that I feel like I could actually hurt a young guy with, you know what I mean? If they don't know how to be in the right position, right? And a lot of times we're coaching 100 kids at one time with a football team, right? When we have a semi-private or a small group, it's easier. But that was something that I loved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's like one principle. So a big part, I think he opens the second book with it. He's talking about principles over methodologies. So you could talk about methods and like copy and paste a program or whatever it is. You could do that all day, right? But if you have the principles down, now you can take bits and pieces. Like that explanation was like a jacked up version of, oversimplified version of like what he would call a performance cycle.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's something that I like, that I would take. Am I going to do the internal, external co-contraction stuff with, a fifth grader one day? Like, no, he doesn't need that right now. Like, he can learn how to coordinate his body in other ways. But yeah, like you're saying, there are pieces that I think are applicable and really valuable.
100%. Last summer, you might not even remember, we were working out with a few of the pro guys, and we were just out in the summer. We're just out in the back, and you just sit there and you go, guys, how cool is it what we get to do? And we were all like, what? In front of 3 NFL guys, one guy you had a year on, the other guys maybe had a year on you, all pretty young in the league, and you're like, we get to play football for a living. Mm-hmm. And how cool is this? And I swear to you, that changed the rest of the summer for everyone's perspective. Even like,
that's pretty awesome.
But I mean, even like Scott, he's matured every single year. Like, I love where Scott's at. He's dad now and everything. But even like Scott was like, you also humbled him because he's never felt like a small human, and you made him feel like a small human. But then he was like, you're right. And it was just a weird heavy hitter, and because it was so genuine from you. And now, every day, every time that I talk to you, you tore your pec this year. You were about to be on the squad. You were balling out, tore your pec, have to have surgery. And it was always like, oh, well, it was a blessing for you. It taught you how to play. You got an extra year to learn how to play a position you haven't played a lot of. Like, your gratitude is through the roof. Everybody talks about be grateful, have gratitude, have this. You know what I mean? And then you talked about, as you started playing football, you became a leader. And I have to feel like those two things work together. And that's a huge reason why I wanted to have this talk with you, because I get to see it every day. And I just the kids probably annoyed how much I bring it up. You know what I mean? But
no, I love it.
Where does the gratitude come from?
Yeah, man. My relationship with God, which I developed as soon as I got to football.
Oh, okay.
That moment was like, it's our first game. It was a home game, but we stayed at a hotel in Moscow, Idaho. And with the O-line, so Abe Lucas, who I became friends with, congrats to him, he just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, their right tackle. He's just a great human being. And I trusted him. I still do, right? And he was very encouraging about just going to the team chapel. It was like the whole line does it, whatever, just come. And that's the night before the game. And Father Paul Herrick, he started just talking about like how you guys are loved, you're enough regardless of how you perform tomorrow. I just came off of quitting something that was my entire identity, that I felt like determined whether or not I was loved or felt loved, You're
either cool or you're not.
Yep.
Because I'm either good at basketball or I'm not.
I play basketball, and so it's like better be good at it. Hearing that, I started tearing up, dude. Honestly, I was shy about it. I was embarrassed because I'm supposed to be Mr. Tough tattoo guy, whatever. And man, he and I just ended up meeting and talking about stuff, and he referenced scripture in a way that gave me answers to a lot of questions that I had, just about knowing that, like, man, everything, let alone sports, are a gift. And the fact that I love strength and conditioning, that's a gift. I have something like that I can make a career out of one day. Now I got football. Are you kidding me? Like, I get to do the stuff that I love to coach. Like, it's a win-win. You know what I mean? And to say where that started, I like it. It's fed by my relationship with Jesus, but I think a lot of it started when, looking back, he took me through a process of realizing, like, man, I don't have to be stuck as a basketball player forever. Like, that time during COVID when I got away, it was like, hey, there's more to this. I'm having so much fun training. Like, I'm getting outside more, doing all this stuff that, like, is really simple, but it filled me up, you know? And so he gave me the courage to feed into that and not to stay stuck in whatever I was doing mentally of like, no, you're a basketball guy now. Like, you're going to stay that way. Like, you're not going to the NBA, but like, you're going to grind overseas for the next 10 years. Like, no, I was, by the grace of God, dude, I was given the freedom to pick something else. And it was scary, and it's like totally imperfect. So much gets exposed about you because now you're vulnerable, you're facing adversity, and you find out who you are.
Right.
But started to figure out what I needed to do to become somebody that I liked in adversity. I wanted on my own side, you know? That was kind of vague, but that's the best way I can explain it.
No, I love it. I think that's good for me to hear. Almost all my mentors that are successful have some story similar to that, whether it was in sports or something else, you know what I mean? And it's something I battle with all the time and definitely need to be better at. Even now, your identity, when we chat, it's not football. Mm-mm. You know, what is it? Who's Jack?
Beloved son of the Father. I'm a beloved son of the Father, man. And like, that's bigger than, because everybody's got their different walks with faith, whether they believe, whatever it is, man. You talk about like the building your house on a sandy hill or building your house on a rock, right? And like, if I'm building my house on basketball or football or whatever it is, it's gonna crumble. It's gonna fail at some point.
Right.
Adversity is gonna come. It doesn't mean it's failing, but adversity is gonna hit, and that can't be the only thing I was leaning on. I have a God who I lean on, right, and is going to have an answer to any question, has persevered beyond anything I could ever even imagine. Therefore, who am I to crumble now when I have a bad day at practice? Like, that's not what I put all my effort and energy into anymore, you know? How can it just get better now? I've been shown, like, infinity now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, who am I to stop at 100? Like,
another one of the famous Jack quotes is, I go, Jack, what's your goal? And you're literally like, that. My goal is to treat people good. My goal is to be a good person that day.
Yeah, dude. Like,
that's crazy. That was genuine and off the rip. It wasn't like you thought about it and like, hey, I'm going to say something like because it sounds cool. Like, that's literally who you're trying to be every day.
You talk about the guys last summer and like just the fact that we're on. I'm never trying to toot my own horn or whatever. I mean it when I say like, that makes me so freaking happy. I don't have words for it, man. Like, the fact that had an impact, because I mean it, and I love having those moments where it's because I'm realizing it, bro, and I'm just saying it out loud because you know how it is on the field. Like, you get to say whatever, and you're like, you can take it or leave it. But, yeah, dude, like, being good at sports and all that stuff doesn't hold a candle to being a good, like, man, you know? And that's fulfilling because that's not going anywhere. The sports are going to go somewhere one day. You know?
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to hold on as long as I can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I get more capacity for love. And so then if that's the case, then I can love what I'm doing more. And then you're better at it. Like, it's this filling thing. Like compound interest.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yes, sir.
We're hearing from Dan Paff about some stuff, and that's going to help me, and then I get to help other people with that, and you're helping other people because you're learning it through working with me. Like, it's this compounding interest of just good stuff. And if you can keep that rolling and learn what that's like by not being afraid and not being bound to things that are just freaking so earthly and not worth our time, like, now you can really do something special because you know what it's like when coaches talk about they want their team to know what it's like to win, you know, how important that is. It's like, well, now you know how to win. If we're compounding movement quality with application to make everybody better at sports, you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
That's sweet.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that, man. That's a heavy hitter for me. Something that I've definitely got to work on. I feel like I struggle with the I think outwardly sometimes with the kids.
Yeah.
I'm always hyped, hear gratitude, you know? But then in my head, it's like I'm thinking about like, oh, this building, or oh, hey, this injury with this kid, or hey, my kids are sick, or hey, you know what I mean? And then we look back, and Travis and I were in here at 6 a.m. on a Saturday so the guys could drive. And we're like, how lucky do we get to work with these guys that are going to go to pro day, and we're just hanging out at 6 a.m. And it's like, that's what we've been doing all week, hanging out with the boys, you know what I mean? And being able to put ourselves in that situation, just recognizing it more is something I definitely have to work on. And I feel like everybody, but that's what we love when you're here because it makes us do it.
man.
It makes me feel. I know it's not what you're trying to do, but it makes me feel like a bitch when I'm like, gosh, Jack's going through adversity or has gone through it, and he's going through all this, and he still has this outlook, and like, my life's not that hard.
Damn,
You know what I mean?
dude.
Or people have.
That's all I want to do, bro. You're gonna, jeez. Like,
Yeah.
That's
But I'm serious.
literally all I want to do. So
The
thank
whole
you.
OTF squad and everybody
Heck
that's
yeah.
worked out in here is like, we got to get Jack on a podcast. We got to Jack on the podcast. That's why we had to start
Cool.
the season back up.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, like, you face it. We talked about like what you've dealt with your business, and it's like you've already showed your cards. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to make this like here, listen to me about my input on your life, but like you already showed your cards, and you show your cards to everybody every day of like what you're capable of. It's never gonna stop, dude. Like, you already know that about yourself. So like, just the fact that you're aware of that, it's probably already, it's not taking care of itself, but the beginnings happen. So now it's just gonna keep rolling and compound on itself, like we talked about, right?
Yep.
Like, and hell yeah, dude. That's
I love
awesome.
Let's go back into training.
Yeah.
So, or not even training, just kind of how you attack things. I try to recognize patterns on why people are successful.
Yeah.
And almost every professional I've had, especially the guys that have played for a long time, you know what I mean, are the most consistent guys. The business guys that I talk to, every time I meet with them, they're always at the same level. And I feel like it's a weakness of mine to where, yes, I'll be consistent on how hard I work or whatever I do, but it's like emotions. I can do this, I can be here, you know what I mean? It goes back to like us recognizing the right moment.
For sure.
Your consistency every day, even when you're training, even when, you know, you were in the P squad this year where there was only 3 of you guys, the IR this year, right? Where there was 3 guys to where it's like you're by yourself, but you have to attack it every single day. That consistency, how do you get yourself to do that? How do you train yourself to do that? And I mean, do you even think about it, or is it like, man, you just love this and you're doing it?
Yeah.
But like, where does that consistency come from? Or I mean, have you seen somebody that's even shown that for you to where it's like a leader for you? You know what I mean? That's like an example for you.
Absolutely. I mean, the first person that comes to mind is Quentin Nelson.
He's okay. Yeah.
Like, so that would be a current example or the most recent. For me, I feel like all that kind of stuff started really young, and I always kind of had the freedom to go all in on whatever I was doing. So like, I like dirt bikes now. Like, it doesn't mean we weren't going to buy a dirt bike, but like it wasn't like, hey, why don't you focus on this thing that you were already interested in? It was like I kind of was able to jump around a lot. But one thing that remained consistent effort-wise was basketball. And I think it started with the love for basketball, but then it kind of became robotic in a way. Regardless, I was still learning what it's like to show up to the gym even when you don't want to, even when you don't. So like, even when you don't want to isn't really, I'm not trying to be a hardo, man. I really mean this, like doing something even when you don't want to. If it's what you need to do, I don't think twice about it. And I feel like it's been that way for a while. And it doesn't always mean I'm doing the right thing, like, but I'm going to go hard at it. Now I kind of feel like I have a bit more of a balance, just to where it's like I can admit to myself, yeah, just because you promised yourself you were going to do that thing, now that you realize like, wow, your body's beat up, like that's not the smart decision in the present moment. Overall, I don't really know what it is, but I have seen how fulfilling it is to go as hard as you can at something. And I think even now, knowing like if football were to end at some point, I know I'm not going to be like, oh, I could have done just like a little bit more. Like there's not going to be any room for that.
Yes.
So why?
Yes.
If it's done, then it was just supposed to be done, and that's something bigger than me because I gave every big part of myself that I had, you know? And how rewarding that is kind of just makes it easy to do at some point. But it's a muscle that needs to be worked and developed for sure because it's uncomfortable.
Right.
But then you get addicted to finding out who you are when you're uncomfortable and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And like, I didn't like who I was when I was uncomfortable or when I was tired or whatever. And then you get to change that and facilitate an environment in your own head where it's like, I don't care what happens. Like, I want me in my foxhole. You know? Instead of constantly being like, oh man, like,
who's going to rescue
me the way?
Yeah.
Again, not trying to be a hardo. I truly mean that. And I think it's accessible to everybody. And it doesn't have to be a like grossly strenuous thing. Like there's grace involved. And this wasn't all me. Like I've talked about my relationship with God, getting to scripture, 2 Timothy 1-7, God gives a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. If that's what he gave us, then who am I to act any different than that? Yeah, it's soft, but it's also like, that's not who you are.
Yeah.
So that's how I view it, and then I apply it from there.
When I feel like the most fulfilled, as far as if I take family away, like there's nothing more fulfilling than even just hanging out with my family, being even the fact that I get to bring my wife and my kids here, but fulfilling in like what I do here, it pisses me off that it's usually comes from going through some shit, going through some hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then having no one to help them. Having no one. Now my guys are unreal, but it's like where it's either going to happen because of me or it's not going to happen because of me, and somebody else could do it.
Well, that's what it was built off of to begin with. We've talked about that. And I'd love for you to touch on that if you can.
You can ask about that in a second. But then it's like when I go overcome that and I do that, then I feel 10 times better. And it's like, man, I made a bigger jump in 1 month than I made in 3 months or a year. You know what I mean? I've talked about this multiple times, but it's like I wish I didn't have to be in a really bad, dark place.
Yeah.
But I also then it's like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And this is where most people quit.
Right.
This is when most people can't do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna figure this shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wish I could just do that right when I wake up. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know what I mean? But then there's just comfort, and then there's like,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out, or it'll happen when it happens. You know what I mean? Even like right now with our staff, like the staff is so sick right now. We're setting these quarterly goals, and today's the 31st, and I have to get this stuff done today for them. You know what I mean? And it's like it's hard. It's hard to plan. It's hard, but like as you get through it, when you're in your own foxhole, and it's because of you. It's not because of somebody else. Like that's 100% the most fulfilling.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I hate that, like, and this is going to be complete bro science, but I hate that the whole primal thing became corny, because I think there is like a primal element to all that.
Did you learn this at GNC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was on YouTube on the computer. Yeah. But I feel like, there's something to like, the hunt and then
Yes.
achieving that.
Yes.
It's like, I feel like it's hardwired. So why not lean into that more?
Yeah.
Because when you deny it, then you get like lazy and depressed. I feel like that's where I would go.
Or complacent. You're chilling. And then when you're
sure.
complacent, that's like when I feel the worst.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like I haven't done anything for a week, or it's like I said I was going to get this done and haven't.
Yeah.
Like that's where you get that anxiety from inaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anytime that I feel like I wake up in the middle of the night and have it used to feel like, because I had all these things, and it was like, no, what it is I haven't got this done yet. That's what it is. It's like, it's because of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, that's my fault.
Like talking circles in your head about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, well, what if I just do it?
I have all these things to do. And if I would have done it today, you know what I mean? Like it would have been way better. Another thing that I try to close the gap with my young guys, because I feel like you can have such a huge influence on my young athletes and any of my pro athletes. What I see is like levels change, right? Standards change. Like you've only worked as hard as you've ever worked. Even a sophomore to his junior year. A sophomore thought it was everything he could do. His junior year, he's working way harder. If he would have been doing that a year earlier, or how hard you work in your sophomore year of college compared to your senior year of high school. It's like you could have been working just as hard. You know what I mean? Your levels change as your levels change. Your standards change. You know what I mean? How have you seen those grown? And if you could look back at your high school self, not saying, hey, I would have played football sooner, but if you could have looked back at the way that you trained, the way that you handled things compared to you do now, you know what I mean? What do you wish you could tell yourself back then? And you were already pretty dialed, but like for a young guy, where do you think they can get the most wins? I mean, really, we talked about your extended warm-up. The way you warm up is like more focused than my guys sometimes in their main workout because they're 15 or 16 years old. And I have to bring them in, stop, intent, here, you know what I mean? Just the way that you warm up. Yeah. And I see some guys who are in high school and they think they've made it, they got it, and they're half-assed in the warm-up and how I have to stop it and here, and it's hard for them to see that value.
Right.
So I'm trying to close that gap because I know in a year they're going to figure it out, or 2 years. If I can make them figure it out in 3 months, I could get huge wins with that young guy. That's what I want to do. That's my passion right now is how can I close the gap and make a 17-year-old act like a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Get off Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, like, a bunch of things pop into my head with that, and I feel like I'm so.
As I'm building this for Instagram.
Yeah, but it's also different. I feel like just at that point, because you think you made it because you have a cool highlight that's like getting some traction on Instagram, and it's all these gratification things, and that's coming from dopamine and all these things that are like we're not really thinking about. But I think as far as like a more applicable thing, I think about potentiation. like you want to expose the system to the output before you're asked to just go do it. So embracing adversity, however that might be, push yourself to show up to this year. I don't know how it's going to go for football or whatever. I'm talking about like a high schooler, for example. You don't know how it's going to go for football this year. You didn't get a ton of playing time, whatever. What's a controllable variable? Well, the majority of the year is spent in the off season. I'm not going to miss a single workout. If I have the opportunity to work out, if it's the 8th grade group and I'm a freshman, but the freshmen are getting it off, like, hey, coach, can I come with the 8th grade groups just so I can get some time in there? Like, whatever. I don't want to take away from the group, but like, can we keep rolling with whatever?
Right.
I would just say embrace adversity in that sort of way and don't kid yourself when you're working just for the sake of being in the gym so I can like post it on my Snapchat story.
Or check the box that my attendance is there.
Yes. Embrace the like all that stuff can get a little bit corny, but it's still very real. And you have to. Nobody else is going to do that for you.
I love like when, even like the conditioning side, the football coaches we work with know that we are lower on the conditioning side. We'd rather you be fast with the team sport, take away cross country. We'd rather you be able to sprint a lot of times than be able to jog.
And that can be conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, on the conditioning side and stuff too, where it's like that framework in your head, you see a kid and they're freshman or like an O-lineman, they're here and it's like, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're okay. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I can get them to see that and know that I'm not making them do more than, I'm not just conditioning them to punish them. There's those times too, but to where like, you're fine. You feel that? Like you're okay.
Yeah.
And then the next time they can get a little bit more. And the next time they can get a little bit more. When you're seeing that adversity, which I don't know if the weight room for you is adversity, like some of these kids. Because to me, like the discipline and adversity comes from doing something that you know you're supposed to do, but you might not love, right?
Yeah.
You love that.
Yeah.
What's your adversity right now? I know you've dealt with that in the past, but as you're training, as you're going through it, what's your adversity?
Yeah.
And how do you get yourself through that? What's your mindset on that?
My biggest adversity is my own mind.
That's another Jack quote. Write that one down.
I know what it's like to facilitate an environment in my own head. There was an Olympian. I wish I could remember her name. She talked about like how neuroplasticity is on her side. She won something. Sorry to whoever that is, but it was really cool what she said. Neuroplasticity is on her side, so therefore she can facilitate an environment where her head's a good place to be. And it slows down essentially, and like I'm going to butcher how she explained it, but I view it in a really similar way. She just happened to word it better than I could. She's smarter than me, but like I know what it's like to have a groove where when I step onto the field, I'm going to be in like that flow state, you could call it, where you're not really thinking and you're just doing, and then you trust your training, whatever you want to call it. But you can't try to do that all the time or try to force it or try and force feed yourself all these perfect things. It comes to a point where you just have to be present. We talked about how you handle adversity, how you do all these different things. Those need to happen. I'm at a point where I've pushed myself with those. I'm confident in myself and my ability to do difficult things. And I believe that when I'm nervous or tense, that's just my body, A, heightening its capability. It's on, it's ready, it's working. And B, through effort, I can improve.
Yes.
And I've showed myself that. So again, if God gave me a spirit of not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control, who am I to all of a sudden shut that off, get nervous, lights get too bright? I think just letting that be is my biggest adversity right now. Because I'm fixer guy, coach, you can train all these different things. What if I am at a point, 26 years old, been doing a lot of sports, this is my job now, I can just be grateful for it and act upon it.
Right.
So that, I don't want to get too overcomplicated-y with it, but that's true. I'm just trying to be honest with it.
Well, I think it comes back to, and everybody talks about fear, and maybe you don't recognize it as like fear, like, oh, I'm going to jump off this cliff, I'm scared, fear, but everybody sucks the first time they do something.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yes, like what you were just saying.
Judgment and like...
Through effort,
yeah.
you know you can get better. And that's the thing that I've loved the most, and AI's been helping me with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, being real, trying to build stuff online, trying to build the therapy, whatever it is. And it's like, okay, I'm going to suck at it right now, but I'll do it again tomorrow and I'll be better at it.
I was the worst guy at Washington State. Maybe not like the worst. I had some physical capabilities and these things that I've been blessed with that helped me survive. But as a football player, I was like the youngest worst out there.
You couldn't bench 225.
At Idaho, yeah, whatever it is.
Now you're off a torn pec and you're benching 400
what am I
pounds.
afraid of now?
Yeah.
Like,
not long ago, you couldn't bench 225. And now torn pec and you're benching 400.
yeah.
It's crazy. But it just comes through effort.
Improve through effort.
And
you can trust that too. And I say this too, like I'm genetically predisposed to sports. Like, yeah, I'm feeding something and doing the right things with something that like, I won't say like it was just a given that I was going to be this way. I could be a tall, awkward guy if I didn't work on it. But
like me.
But at the same time, like I get that not everybody is going to just all willy-nilly, but
whatever you want to do,
it's accessible, dude.
You're going to be
It's
shitty
accessible.
at it when you first start.
Yes.
And if you just keep going, and again, if you got to, I always go argue like if you should do what you love, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I also think that you can find ways that you love, like you can love aspects of things.
For sure.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dad's framing and construction, and that actual work is like hard as shit.
Yes.
Does he enjoy it all the time? Does he love doing bids? Does he love doing all that? But like putting the puzzle together,
right,
and building something, there was nothing there, and then having that, like you can see, even still with his age and should be retired, but he's not. But like you see how he gets something out of that. You know what I mean? So I think, and I think he had to find that. You know, it was a necessity. It was dad dropped out of high school and just started doing construction right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because good way to get paid and start working. And now you've seen how he's made that the way that he loves it. And I think that even with me, it's like, okay, I have to be behind a computer. I would rather just coach all the time, but I got to run the business now. You know, I'd rather just hang out with you all the time, but I got to run the business. And it's like, okay, creating a system makes it easier for us to coach or to help us grow or to do this. It's like you can find ways to love it, but there's just so much friction at the beginning that people don't do it. Usually I feel, even with me, I'll think about it for a month, a week, an hour before I start something, and then it takes 5 minutes to realize, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's like you can do it faster than how long it take you to just take the first step.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm trying to close that gap with my athletes, and it's easy when I've built trust with them. Then I think I can really lean on them.
For sure.
And I think that you have to have that, but we don't always get to spend a ton of time with our kids, and sometimes, not trying to cloud or ego either, but sometimes because they know I'm the older guy, I'm the ego, or they've seen me work with the NFL guys. Even if I only go see a couple high school guys, sometimes if I say something, it might hit a little bit different. But I feel like sometimes my message isn't taken right, or I have the kids that I know have so much in them, and they're just they think they already got it, or they don't want it, or they don't, you know what I mean? And
I think that's
the biggest struggle that I have now. Also, the most fulfillment,
right,
when it does happen. You know,
I think that's where there's still a like as much as this stuff sounds great and everything, there's still like a healthy dose of reality that's very crucial to the entire operation. Right. Like, and that doesn't mean limit your thinking or limit what you're capable of in your own head, but like you could still be very real in that, like, yeah, right now, like that was the best part, is I wasn't afraid of being that guy because I was just honest with myself. I was like, yeah, this is the circumstance. It's my first time playing football, and it's not very good right now. And that's just is what it is. And so I'm going to do A, B, and C and try to keep it simple, because now from that place of reality, I'm not trying to jump to step 5, like, no, I can
Right.
just go one day at a time. But if we're so wrapped up in what you think you should be or comparing yourself to everybody else, well, now you're trying to strive for goals that that other person or that fake version of yourself that you're dealing with right now. Like it's like that bridge between expectation and reality. Like that's where all the frustration happens. You know what I mean? At least for me.
Yeah. When you were injured this last year, we have so many athletes that get a season taken away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you're young, you'll never get that back. Luckily, you're going to at least get another shot. But you were building up, had a good chance to be active roster, torn pec.
Mm-hmm.
They could have let you go, did whatever. Obviously, the Colts love you, so they kept you. But then you had a year by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How do you attack an injury like that every single day? To where, especially even where you were cleared early, but you still just because of contract and how the NFL works, you can't play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you handle that mentally? How do you deal with an injury which was out of your control?
Yeah. That, again, I've worked the muscles to be able to stay within my scope of control and attack that.
First, you got after it.
Yeah. I think I frustrated the training staff a lot, honestly.
But you made it your life.
Cool. Yeah.
Sometimes we get people injured and they're like, oh, just time's going to heal it.
There's an aspect to this that I need to admit. I'm with the Indianapolis Colts. Who am I to get upset?
Yeah.
They kept me around.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But I think I would have handled it the same way with the tools that I have now in any circumstance. And I think that comes from just like, again, being very rooted in the reality of what's happening right now and saying like, if this is my job, why wouldn't I attack every single aspect of it? If this is my dream, if I was younger and if that's what I want to achieve, like, why is this is just what's happening right now. It's adversity, just like in the middle of a game or whatever it may be. You can't let that stop you all of a sudden. Like, yeah, you need to decompress and kind of debrief with yourself and be like, allow yourself to feel these things like, man, this kind of sucks or whatever. But it's like, you got to get back in the saddle at some point. Once you get in it, until it's better or until the thing's fixed or until you win or whatever it is, why would you stop? You know? I can't process that.
The times I've seen return to play, rehab, coming back off of an injury, have the most success is when somebody just absolutely attacks it.
You're going to get better.
Yeah.
And you have all the tools.
Yeah.
Your body is it's the most incredible
But there's so much
mechanism.
shit that happens though. You go under the knife. They give you drugs, which might be the first time a kid ever, and I hate it.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes you have to have it. But like what happens in your head, like there's so much stuff that goes like this. You know what I mean?
Identity.
Oh, huge. You're the coolest guy on campus, coolest girl on campus, and then bam, you're done.
That's why I think I don't do that to myself anymore.
Yeah.
That was a big part of it. That's
When you're
what I'm
15,
saying.
I think that's a battle that was tough to win.
For sure.
Tough to win. But it goes back to when you can be, I loved what you said, like you can be your guy in the foxhole.
Yep.
That's what I love seeing about a kid that figures it out first couple months, but then it's like, this isn't something that my mom's going to call the coach and I'm going to start playing, or I'm going to transfer a school, or my quad's just going to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can literally visibly see your two limbs, they look different. You know what I mean? Where it's like and it's either they're going to put in the work, and we have people doing the same protocols, but somebody attacks it compared to somebody who doesn't. And it could even just be like, I mean, there's a lot of philosophies to where they're talking about the mindset on how it helps with tissue repair. But like even like your positive mindset, whatever positive means, but your mindset on attacking that, helping with tissue repair. And then I've seen guys that have had multiple injuries, their body's in complete state of threat. They're dying with it. Or a kid who's like never had adversity, and then the season gets taken away, right? And to where they struggle with it. But that ability that you had to attack this, like you came back and you were like, oh, I'm better than I was before. And you were here. And you were already the elite of the elite. And for you to come back like that and that tenacity is, again, then I worked with another kid who had a way small injury compared to you, but I was able to use you for that. Sweet. The ability to attack that is insane.
If you're that guy or that girl and that's what your identity was wrapped up in, then go prove it in your rehab. It's just a time to train.
Yeah.
You can get better in the other aspects that you still have. If you're a football guy, tear your ACL. Smash bench, bro. Like That's what I
The
say when I
system's
was
not set up for that always, though. You had to do it even there. You said you had to kind of figure it out
but
yourself.
I was annoying about it, and I was like, well, if this thing's okay,
Yeah.
then why can't I go crush it? But I get that, and maybe that's unfair of me, but
That's
still,
real.
The gratitude.
We're trying to change
my
that
head-
system.
Yeah, my head goes straight to like, you still get to do it. This is still what you're doing. It's not done.
Right.
That's still cool. You're
Right.
going to learn more, and these are going to be tools, and you're somehow going to grow through this adversity to come back better. Even if you come back and you're slower, your brain's not.
Yeah.
You have and I'm never trying to be like too hyper positive, like unrealistic, but I think that's very real. And it's just about the framework of how you look at it.
Right. What's next, man? When do we head out? What do you got this year with the Colts? What's the goals for you this year, right now?
April 20th, we start OTAs, and then that'll go till early to mid-June. Biggest thing there is just like attacking it, you know? You get an opportunity to get onto the field again, start off with just a bunch of individual drills, get to hone all the skill work, double down on the confidence and that, like, yeah, I do feel good in my pass set.
Right.
Like, this run block technique does feel good. And you get to go do it against the defense. That's, like, the funnest stuff ever.
Yeah.
And
go run through a guy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And get a little bit of time. I'm getting married in between OTAs and training camp. Get married to the love of my life, and then I show up to training camp and go earn a spot on the Indianapolis Colts
Go
roster.
change your life. Yeah.
That's my plan.
I love it. Well, you've changed us here, man. It's been awesome. You already got a job, like I said, in 10 years.
Cool.
Yeah. And so
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're pumped, man.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate everything, and let's keep rolling, dog.
Man, I appreciate you, dude, because it's like I even though I feel all these things or whatever, this is still an environment where you guys have that. I get to just be a freaking weirdo about it and yell it at the rooftops. You know what I mean? Like, you're already facilitating that environment, and I'm just happy I get to be a part of it.
Hell yeah. Let's keep rolling, dog.
Yep.
Sweet.
Cool.
Easy.